Well, what is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Therapeutic Edge. It is lovely to have you here. You know, on the table in front of us is not the knife we're going to be talking about today. Well, it sort of is. Okay, so my history with Kershaw goes back a really long way. I used to camp a lot, outdoors person, do all that stuff, right? And before I knew anything about knives, really, a lot of my knives came from places like Big Five or other sporting good outlets. And so what you got was Kershaw, really, or Gerber, stuff like that. This is, 10, 12, 15 years ago. And I sort of stayed with that because they worked. And I didn't, I wasn't really invested. I just needed something that would cut, and they would do that. I think, so this, of course, is the Highball XL, which is a silly name for the knife because it's anything but XL, but that's okay. It is a really nice knife. But if we go backwards a ways, right? I'm talking about stuff like this. This is the Volt stainless steel. I've been a fan of Kershaw's stainless steel and insert blade steel here knives for a long time. This, of course, is assisted. This one is not. This one's 9 or 10 years old now. Shortly after that, stuff like the Cryo 2 came along. This is a Hinderer design. Very nice knife. I got this one in Oregon from a particular outdoor store. I thought it was cool. So I don't really have a negative perspective on Kershaw. But like many people, I just wish they would do more better stuff. Now, they make fantastic autos in aluminum and, good steel. They just do a really good job. I always sort of wish they would just sort of translate that into their regular pocket knives. They do every once in a while. I mean, stuff like the bare knuckle. Now, this, of course, is the 20 CV bare knuckle. But they made one of these in 14C. This is a really nice knife. It's not perfect, but still absolutely a step up. So a year, 2 years ago or so, when Kershaw started talking about making knives in D2, which, they said we're going to make improved knives. We're going to make them at a D2, which is better than the 8CR13 MOV that they were pumping out left and right. We all sort of went, okay, well, let's see what you do. There are a few that came out that were pretty good. I'm actually a fan of this one. This is the NORAD. It's D2 on a steel frame lock. It's running on bearings. It's very comfortable. And the first thing I thought of when I saw this was, please make a premium version of this. But they didn't. And this has got a couple of issues that really make me go, nyeh. The little carbon fiber inserts just look cheap. Really do. Now, this thing, I think, what was this? The NORAD was about $75. I mean, it's not an insignificant amount of money for a knife in D2, considering how many other companies are pumping out $30 knives in D2. But it's cool. So, I don't have a problem with Kershaw. So then, a year or so ago, when they started showing pictures of the Highball here, I thought, man, that looks really good. And it does. It is a smaller knife, which makes the XL sort of silly, but it is very comfortable in hand. The design is very attractive. The blade is beautiful, right? This is another one that when it landed, I thought, can we please do a premium version of this? Now, in my head, I didn't know what I was thinking. I mean, maybe I was thinking along the lines of, 20 CV or something like that. But it would really be worth it. And then, a while back, the folks over at Smoky Mountain Knife Works, it seems like they agreed with me. Because they got together with Kershaw and came forward with this. This is the Highball XL Titanium. This is the 720. This is the 720 Ti. And I got to tell you, this is really nice. Now, these are $129 when they were released. Right now, you can get them on Smoky Mountain's website for $99. And I missed it. It is worth the investment. It is light. It is the same really nice aesthetic. The stone, this has got some sort of coating on the blade. This is just stone washed. Stuff like this both makes me happy and frustrates me because, I get it. You can make 1 million of these and sell them for, I think these were $25 back when I got one. I think they're closer to $40 now. You can just keep pumping stuff like that out into the market, or you can sort of mid-range it with stuff like the NORAD. But the Highball is proof that somewhere in there, Kershaw still understands what really good knife DNA looks like. I love the bare knuckle, but it has one sort of notorious problem, and that is that it has this sort of sub-frame lock, and it is so sensitive that unless you are holding this thing just right, you can't get it open. Like if you put just a finger on that frame lock, oh God. This has none of those problems. It's S35VN, running on bearings, full tie. It's got a nice tie backspacer. It is light. It's a very quick knife in the hand. Really, really good EDC blade shape. The D10s on mine is a little stiff. Lefty EDC, if you're watching Kevin, it's a little stiff, but nothing serious. It just works, and you can roll it out. I don't know if I can thumb this out. Let's try. Yep, you can. So deployment works really well. I really like this. Do I wish that it was blue, like its stainless steel brother here? I do. I'm not a huge bronze anno fan, but it doesn't look bad. And there's a part of me that's thinking about swapping over the hardware. Maybe. If this is the kind of knife that you use still to this day, if you've got whatever the modern version of the Volt or the Cryo 2 here are, good. These are excellent working tools. They really are. I have no complaints. I wish they weren't assisted, but hey, that's the way it goes. If you're a fan of the NORAD, that's awesome too. I very much still wish that they would produce a slightly upgraded version of this. Leave it D2, get rid of these cheesy carbon fiber plugs or whatever they are, and bring it back. But better yet, make it 14C28N and do all that. You would sell 1 million of these things. But in the meantime, if you've got one of these and just find yourself wishing that it was a little better. I'm not going to lie. Mine here has got a little bit of blade rock in it. Just a little bit, and I can't seem to tighten that out. It's definitely got some Kershaw isms, but I love the design. Stasa, over Stasa23, said that he thought this would be better as a ZT, because the design is that good. Well, there you go. This says Kershaw, but full tie, bearings, S35VN. This has all the hallmarks of a ZT. So let's take a look at what you get. We're going to leave the original up here on the table just for giggles. So much like with the original Highball, you get a gorgeous sort of drop point blade. It's got this lovely fuller. It runs through, almost the full length of the blade. That's for deployment. It is a frame lock, as you can see, and we're locked up at about 45%. There is a steel lock bar insert. This one has a titanium backspacer. It still has the same stamped steel clip, but that's okay. It's got bronzed hardware, as you can see. This logo right here is their in-house design logo, which I just think is cool. You get a little bit of billboarding on the blade, as is typical of Kershaw. It says 720 Ti, and it's got the Kai logo, and then CPM S35VN on this side, and over here it just says Kershaw. They could have done without that. Get some lovely jimping that runs almost half the length of the blade, so anywhere that your finger lands, you're really in the right spot. The handle shape on this is, I really like it. Now, it's a smaller knife. It's a smaller knife. But here, where is my, There it is. You know, I mean, it's bug out size. Only it's less money than the bug out. Even at $129, it's less money than the bug out. And it's better materials. So there's that to consider. We'll do other size comparisons here in a minute. This proves they can do it. It really does. Now, this one proves that they still have some QC stuff they need to work on. That little bit of blade rock is just a little annoying. But I have to tell you, this one landed a few days ago, and it is rock solid. I know they can do it. I know they can make really good knives if they want to. And they don't charge an arm and a leg, right? If either one of these were a ZT, this one in CPM 20 CV, even with aluminum scales, if it was ZT, it would cost $300 easy. This little thing would cost $280. Because it says Kershaw, it's right now they're $99. This is what, $100, something like that, I think. Now these are hard to find. You can still get the standard 14C version in some places. Because this and this are both sort of sprint runs, special editions made for, I think, Smoky Mountain or some other company. But I wish Kershaw would quit doing that and just release them this way. But anyway, let's take a look at what you get. So as I said, if you've seen my review on the original Highball XL, you're going to know that the specs are basically the same, but let's go ahead and do them again anyway. We'll line it up right there. You get 3 1/4 inches of cutting on 3 1/4 inches of S35 VN. The grip area from behind that swell, 1, 2, 3, just about 3 1/2, right? Which gives my finger a little bit of roll off the end, but nothing serious. And because of this swell, it locks in very nicely. The knife itself, from tip to tail, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1/2 inches overall. Closed profile on this thing is fan-freaking-tastic, right? Because it's really lean. There's no flipper tab. We're looking at under 1 1/4 inches. And the closed length comes in at 4 1/4 inches. I like this knife. Now, this is not one of their USA-made knives. The Highball here is USA-made. It comes from the USA factory. The bare knuckle here. The Highball is made in China. And for some of you, that's going to be a deal breaker. That's not the case for me. I just wanted you to know that up front. The real difference in this comes, of course, in the upgraded blade steel and in the better handle material, but the real difference is in the weight. So let's see what that comes in at. The original Highball in steel is 3.8 ounces for a 3 1/4 inch blade. So that's fairly heavy. The Thai version is 2.8 ounces. So it's a full ounce lighter than its stainless steel brother here. Blade stock looks to be exactly the same thickness, so it's just the difference in weight between titanium and stainless steel. Neither one is milled out on the inside, so they could save some weight here if they milled it, but that would cost more money, and well, you know how that goes. I want them to do stuff like this. I do. I want Kershaw to do stuff like this. Because I want to own them. Having been a Kershaw fan forever, I mean, just ever, right? And going back even older than this. These are just the ones that I happen to have handy. There's a nostalgia thing that goes on that really appeals to me. I mean, they won't release the Cryo 2 in full titanium because that would directly compete with their other, like the ZT 551 or 550, 0551 or 0550. That's basically this knife by ZT in fancier materials. So they're not going to do that. They could do this, but because this is a R.J. Martin design, they'd end up having to give R.J. Martin a bunch more money, and that probably wouldn't make it worth their while. So it's this in-house stuff that they could definitely do it with. And Kershaw has had some designs in the last couple of years. Like I said, the NORAD here is a really excellent pocket knife if it was just in slightly better materials and it hadn't cost so much off the bat. $75 for D2 and stainless steel is sort of ridiculous. So do this. You guys don't seem that interested in making ZTs anymore, so make these. Sell them to us. There is a market waiting for them. I'll put a link in the description to the Smoky Mountain Knife Works page where you can find one of these if you're interested. And if not, I totally understand. I just think that if you're looking for a light, easy to carry, good materials pocket knife that won't break the bank, this is a hell of an option. It really is very nice. And I think that's where we're going to wrap it up. This is the exclusive to Smoky Mountain Knife Works, Kershaw Highball XL in full tie and S35 VN, and I really like it. And I hope you did too. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.